Everyone, welcome back. I'm so sorry it's been such a long time since I filmed a video, but I do have one for you today which will hopefully help a lot of you, and it's how to survive exam season. Now, for a lot of you, I know exams are just around the corner, but don't panic. Hopefully this video will help you out. I've split up the video into different sections from before exams right until after them to hopefully guide you through. I did a Tumblr and blog post, I think, last year on this kind of thing, but hopefully in video form it will make more sense as well, but I'll also link all that stuff in the box below as always. So to start off with, before your exams have even started, I know you think they might be soon, but it's never too late to start revision, and you have to remember that you've been doing stuff all throughout the year in lessons and as homework, which is going to help. So don't feel like you haven't done as much revision as your friends or that you've left it too late. You've still been doing stuff all throughout the year that's going to help you. The first thing I would say is to definitely make a timetable. This means that you know exactly when your exams are going to be and you're not going to be caught off guard that there's one you didn't know about. Also, this means that you're going to know exactly how much time you have before each exam so that you can sort out your revision timetable in regards to that. So say your maths exam is the very last one, you probably don't want to start revising for that one before your biology one, for example, which might be next week. The next thing I'd say is to find out how you revise best. For me, I found that making little cue cards with some summarised information on worked really well for me, but you might prefer doing mind maps or getting your friends and family to quiz you on it, or just working through past papers. That's another really good way to do it because you get a real feel for how long you have to do the exam and also the types of questions that are going to be asked. The other thing I would say is to be really strict with yourself on knowing what you do and don't understand. It can be really tempting just to kind of read over and write notes on the things that you do understand and do it all in pretty colours and stuff. But what you really need to start on first is the things you don't understand and the harder stuff, because that's going to take you longer to understand. And then things that you kind of have already grasped in lessons, you can just quickly read through or make a couple of notes on. So definitely try and start on the harder stuff and get that over with before you move on to other things. The other thing I would say is to be realistic. I've had quite a few people asking me questions about how many hours a day I've revised and how long in advance of exams did I start revising. And for me, I probably did leave it a bit late, to be honest. I only really start revising properly like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks before the exam. Probably a bit more for GCSEs because I had more to do. But I'm not one of those people that wants to spend hours and hours and hours every day revising. My sister did actually do that last year for her GCSEs, and I think she got a bit too bogged down in revision, like just doing it from as soon as she woke up to going to bed every day. I think that's just too much and your brain can't process it. So I probably revise for, I don't know, maybe 3 hours a day in the holidays and maybe 2 hours in term time. You have to remember that you're still doing stuff at school, so it's not just revision or doing outside of it that counts. And I also like to think that having done all the homework and stuff throughout the year, that gives me a really good grounding for the exams as well. But instead of having like a strict timetable, I'd maybe have a focus for each session. So maybe on a Monday I'd say that I was going to work on understanding rebranding in geography, or for English I was going to work on a specific text and a specific theme. So this means that you can finish when you've accomplished that and that you know you've finished that little section before you move on, rather than sitting down at your desk for like 12 hours trying to revise. Also, make sure you split up your revision and have some breaks. And also I think it's important throughout like revision and exams to have a couple of days just to take a step back from it and plan something to look forward to. So maybe that's going to the cinema with your friends, or you know, just having a meal out with your family, just stuff to look forward to try and get you through this hard time. Okay, so that's all my pre-exam stuff. Moving on to sort of the night before the exam, make sure you pack your exam pencil case the night before and know all the guidelines. I know for some exams you're allowed a calculator but can't have a lid on it, or you need a ruler, pens and pencils, whatever. Make sure you've got all of that stuff ready the night before so you don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I haven't even got a pencil. So you can go to bed knowing that everything is organised and ready to go. Also, try and go to bed a bit early. It's probably going to take you a bit longer to go and get to sleep because you're going to be worrying about it. But just, you know, try and rest your brain and give yourself a bit of time. There's no point in cramming up until the exam. You're better off having some sleep and being rested to go into the exam. The other thing I would say the night before is definitely check what time your exam is. Some people can be caught off guard thinking that they have an afternoon exam and it's actually a morning exam, so know exactly what time it is and how you're going to get there on time so that you're not panicking in the morning. Okay, so during the exam, these are things that your teachers have probably mentioned to you, but I'm just going to say them again to really reiterate it. Number one is make sure you read the instructions on the question paper. I've heard of loads of people that have answered 2 essay questions when they only need to do 1. So make sure you read the instructions and know exactly what you're expected to do. There's no point writing 2 really good answers when you've actually only got to do 1 and you could write an excellent one instead. So make sure you read the instructions. Second thing to do is to not panic. Now this is a really hard thing to do. If you come across a question which you really don't understand how to answer, it can kind of throw you off. What I would do is to just leave it, ignore it, move on, and then maybe through doing some other questions that might be kind of related to it, might give you a hint as to how you can tackle it, or also once you've kind of got into the flow of writing answers, you can have a better chance of answering it later on. So try not to panic, just move on and keep answering the other questions in the paper. Read the question and answer that question. It's kind of like the instructions thing, but a lot of people can try and bend the question to suit something that they've already answered in class, and the examiners will pick up on this and they'll probably mark you down for it. So make sure you read the question, really understand what it's asking you to do, and answer exactly that. The other thing to do that can help you out is to look at the marks available. This will give you an idea of how long you should spend on that question. So if the question's only worth 2 marks, it's probably only a sentence or so. There's no point in writing a whole essay answer for that. On the other hand, if it's worth 30 or 40, then you're going to be required to write something quite extensive, and a few bullet points isn't going to really suffice. And my final point for during the exam is that there are no trick questions. It can seem like this, that the examiners are trying to trick you out and mark you down, but they are just testing you on stuff that you've learned in class that's on your syllabus. So try not to answer anything in a wildly different manner to things you've done in past papers, because they should be on a similar line to that, even if you don't think they are. So try and answer things in a similar manner to how you've done before. Okay, moving on to after the exam. First thing is to celebrate. You've finally completed that exam. That might be your final one. It might not, but if it isn't, then you can just cross it off your list. I used to have my timetable and then I put a big black mark through it to say that I'd finished it, and I could count down the number of exams I had left. The next thing to do is to kind of like refuel. If you have another exam that day, make sure you drink plenty of water, maybe have a chocolate bar or something to get a bit more energy so you can have a good chance at doing well in that one as well. The other thing I would say is to try and avoid post-exam analysis. I know this used to happen to me all the time. You'd come out of the exam and then everyone would be saying like, oh, what did you put for question 4? Did you put 20 down for question B or 24? I don't know. And then people would be saying like, oh, did you choose the rebranding question or the one on coasts? And everyone would just be like trying to like analyse what everyone else had put, and people would be working out like what grades they think they got, how many marks they got. Honestly, it's not worth it. You can't do anything about it now, and someone's always going to end up upset. My final piece of advice for you is to put things in perspective. I know that your exams right now seem like the most important thing, and you should definitely put your 100% effort into it and to do your absolute best so that you can be proud of the results you achieve. But to me, looking back now that I've done GCSEs, A-levels, and I'm now in my second year of university, I did worry far too much and stress myself out way too much over my exams, almost to the point of making myself ill. So just to put it into perspective, now I wonder why I worried so much about them, and I know it is the most important thing for you right now, but just to put it into perspective, if things don't go right, there is always a chance of resitting stuff, doing something different, like a different subject. So if things don't go right, there's always other options, and just try and consider that this is not the be-all and end-all, and that your health is the most important thing. So try not to get too het up and panicked and anxious over it. I know that's really hard, but I just want to wish you the best of luck in your exams. I know it's a really difficult time, and trying to do revision and keeping up with everything else is really hard, but I'm always here to answer any questions that you might have. All my details will be in the description box for you, and I'll link a couple of other videos I think you might find helpful with like revision and stuff. And let me know if you have any other video requests. I'll try and get them done as I can, but obviously I have exams too, which I should probably be revising for instead of making a video about revision and exams. But best of luck in your exams. I hope you all do really well, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye!